North and the South. The North, which was also known as the Union, and the South, which was called the Confederacy. Let's go back to look at the reason why the nation had split. The Confederacy wanted to be independent from the Union, while the Union wanted to have both sides join into one nation. The South would not come together with the Union if slavery wasn't allowed. The South would not let slavery be taken away from them, thus starting the war. Both sides were battling from years 1861 to 1865, like two children fighting for McDonald's Happy Meal toy. With over 600,000 casualties through the process of the war. Although both sides had lots of soldiers with their army, soldiers are not just to run around like headless chickens shooting random people. No, they needed a leader and, most important, a battle strategy to win the war. That was a major difference that made the war go either way. It was the types of battle strategies the Union and Confederacy had. The Union battle strategy was simple. It was presented by General-in-Chief for the U.S. Army and veteran of the Mexican War, Lieutenant General Winfield Scott. His plan devised a situation where the Union wouldn't have enough soldiers battle ready. Therefore, they would isolate the South from the rest of the southern states. The idea of his plan was to cut off the Confederacy from all their resources and supply to allow the growth of anti-secessionist sentiments, which in time would cause the South to surrender with no casualties taking place. General Scott suggested that if the plan did not work, then he would have the Union create an army of 300,000 soldiers that can invade the South and would win the war within 2 or 3 years. This plan was called the Anaconda Plan. It was named after the deadly snake that suffocates its prey by squeezing them. These things are deadly. Here's one eating a pig. Now to the Confederates' battle strategy. The Confederates' battle strategy wasn't even really a battle strategy. They just wanted to survive the war and defend the South. It is what both sides wanted to do, defend their home and survive the war, but the Confederates made that their only goal to win. The Confederacy had no interest in invading the North and attacking. They just laid back and waited for the Union to attack and play defense. While the Union was planning attacks, the Confederacy was preparing for defense. The Confederate President Jefferson Davis planned to avoid major battles because of little numbers of soldiers, and would participate only in the small battles. This was the strategy of attrition, a strategy of winning by not losing and keeping themselves alive. This caused border states wanting a defense army for in case of invasion. Since their numbers were so low, Union forces could pass on without a doubt. Although defense does a lot, it doesn't always win you the war or the little battles. These battle strategies led to many battles. Some were small and some were major. Both sides had their victories. Then the battle that was the turning point of the war, the Battle of Gettysburg, which then led to the outcome. The Civil War all came to an end when General Lee of the Confederacy and the last major army surrendered at the Appomattox Courthouse to USS Grant on April 9th. General Lee was not actually planning to surrender yet. He wanted to get supplies and regroup at the courthouse, but General Grant managed to get in front of Lee and surround his much smaller army. Lee saw no choice but to surrender and did so. This victory was a great success for the North. Ultimately, it was the battle strategies that helped them win the battles leading to the end. Although both sides had great armies and strategies, the Union had the better battle strategy that led to the winning of the war. And that's all, folks.